Good evening, all. I am Sneha Mohan, an OET aspirant from Edu Skills International. As you all know, Edu Skills International is a free platform, and we learn by empowering each other. Our mentor is Father Saleen Joseph. So we are all learning from his tips and strategies. I welcome all of you for this session. Today, I will be handling reading part C, okay, and I'll be handling from sample material. So I thank OET for sharing this sample material. So let's start. So question number 11. In the fifth paragraph, what point is made about the two hypotheses mentioned? Okay. In reading part C, we are following QTA method, that is question, text, and answer method. So let us read the text now. Okay. The text says, broadly speaking, Dr. Soter says the ideal recipe for a food allergy is to be born of allergic parents and then to have a high exposure to an allergenic foodstuff. But there are so many exceptions to this rule that other forces are clearly at work, and who's to say what high exposure is anyway? In contrast, the so-called hygiene hypothesis suggests too low an exposure to allergens is to blame. The idea is that today's clean environments leave our immune systems with too little to do, encouraging them to turn on the wrong culprits. Clearly, the field of immunology has only just scratched the surface of understanding. So as we have finished the text, now let us move on to the answer options. Answer option A. They both appear to be credible. The keyword is credible. Okay. Answer option B. They directly contradict with each other. That is, they directly contradict with each other. That is, directly contradict. The keyword is directly contradict. Answer option C. They fail to define their terms adequately. Fail to define their terms. Answer option D. They should both be studied in more depth. The keyword is studied in more depth. The keywords in the question are fifth paragraph, then what point, and about. It is an about question about two hypotheses which has been mentioned in the text. Okay. Now, any guess regarding the answers? You can put down your answers in the chat box. Okay, let us see what the answer is. Yes, the correct answer is they directly contradict with each other. If you see the answer option A, they both appear to be credible. Okay, what is meant by credible? Okay, credible means it is acceptable. Okay. They both appear to be credible. Next, it is not mentioned in the text. Next is they fail, answer option C, they fail to define their terms adequately. So it is the opposite which has been mentioned because they are clearly defining their terms, both the hypothesis. Okay. Next, answer option D, it is telling that they should be both studied in more depth. This has not been mentioned in the text. Now, if you look into the text, it is mainly telling about the two hypotheses. So you should know what these hypotheses are telling, okay? See, Soter says, in the text, it is mentioned, Soter says, he's telling the ideal recipe for food allergy. So what is meant by a recipe? A recipe is a mixture of the ingredients, okay? So the ingredients mainly for the food allergy is, they're telling that born to allergenic parents, and second one is to have high exposure to allergenic food. This is exactly the same what has been mentioned in the text. I've just made it in a simple way for you to understand. Okay. Next, the other hypothesis. First one is the Soter, who's telling about the ideal recipe for food allergy, and the second one is hygiene hypothesis, and it is telling about the less exposure to allergens. So first hypothesis is telling about they have to be born to allergenic parents, and second, they should have a high exposure to allergenic foods. The second hypothesis is telling less exposure to allergens. So I hope all of you understood how it is contradicting with, they directly contradict with each other with what they have said. Okay. In the text, I have taken down the keywords like but. See, in the text, I have taken the skills and the strategies which has been given by a mentor. Okay, if you read the text clearly, it is mentioned. Broadly speaking, Dr. Soter says the ideal recipe for a food allergy is to be born of allergic parents and then to have a high exposure to it. Okay, then there is a contrast word, but. But there are so many exceptions. Many, again, it is a scale expression, exceptions to this rule that other forces are clearly at work. And who's to say what high exposure is anyway? So they are not very sure what is exactly affecting the people who are allergic. Okay. In contrast, it is telling the so-called hygiene hypothesis suggests, again, it is telling, suggests too low an exposure to allergens is to blame. So the idea is that today's clean environments leave our immune systems with too little to do, encouraging them to turn on the wrong culprits. And conclusion, they're telling clearly the field of immunology has only just scratched the surface of understanding. See, scratch the surface of understanding means find out or do a small amount, but not enough to understand or solve. Okay. Here, Soter is telling one thing, again, the hypothesis is telling another thing, but they are not very sure of what they're telling it. So they are still doubtful. Okay. I hope all of you understood how I have derived at the correct answer option, that is answer option B, and the eliminated ones. Okay, next is question number 12. What does the phrase this rule in the 5th paragraph refer to? So again, in reading part C, we are following QTA method, that is question, text, and answer method. So we have to read the text. It's the same text again.
Broadly speaking, Dr. Soter says the ideal recipe for a food allergy is to be born of allergic parents and then to have a high exposure to an allergenic foodstuff. But there are so many exceptions to this rule that other forces are clearly at work, and who's to say what high exposure is anyway? In contrast, the so-called hygiene hypothesis suggests too low an exposure to allergens is to blame. The idea is that today's clean environments leave our immune systems with too little to do, encouraging them to turn on the wrong culprits. Clearly, the field of immunology has only just scratched the surface of understanding.
Yes, next, let us see the answer options. Okay, question, text, and the answer options. The answer option A says that the likelihood of having an inherited allergy to certain foods. Okay, the keywords taken are likelihood, inherited allergy, and certain foods. Next, answer option B, the type of diet in which food allergies more commonly occur. Here the keywords are type of diet and more. There is a scale expression. Commonly is a sequential expression. Okay, next C, the degree of contact with allergens needed to trigger a reaction. The keywords are degree of contact and trigger a reaction. Okay. Next, in answer option D, the order of events most commonly found prior to allergic attacks. The keywords are order of events and prior to allergic attacks. So as you have read the question, it is asking what is the phrase, okay, when this is the lexical question and it is clearly mentioned in the 5th paragraph referred to. So we have to go to the 5th paragraph and look for this phrase, that is this rule. So the answer will be found just before or immediately after the phrase. Okay. So you can put down your answers in the chat box. Yes, let us see what the correct answer is. Yes, the correct answer is Answer option D, the order of events most commonly found prior to allergic attacks. Okay. If you have read the text clearly, it is mentioned. Okay. The first order is they have to be born to allergic parents. And second one, they've told that high exposure to an allergic foodstuff. And this answer you're getting just before the phrase, that is this rule. I hope all of you understood. And answer option A, it is not mentioned. See, the likelihood of having an inherited allergy to certain foods. So likelihood is nothing but the probability. And they've mentioned certain foods, but it is not mentioned about any foods here, type of foods like grains or pulses. Nothing has been mentioned. And it is not the correct answer. Next, answer option B, the type of diet in which food allergies are more commonly occur. So it is also not regarding the type of diet. We are eliminating that. Next is the degree of contact with allergens needed to trigger a reaction. This is also not mentioned. Okay. See, lexical questions are some questions in which you can save the time and score good marks. Okay. You will get time to solving other questions when you know how to solve it in the right way. Okay. So I request all of you to go through the lexical question video, which is there in our YouTube channel. Yes, question number 13. Okay. What does the sixth paragraph suggest about the transference of allergies between mother and child? Okay, the keywords are, you have to jump into the sixth paragraph, and this is the suggestion which has been asked. Suggest about, again, it's an about question, about what it is asking, transference of allergies between the mother and child. Okay, let's read the text. Okay, we are following QTA method in reading part C. So immediately after the question, we are reading the text.
Broadly speaking, Dr. Soter says the ideal recipe for a food allergy is to be born of allergic parents and then to have a high exposure to an allergenic foodstuff. But there are so many exceptions to this rule that other forces are clearly at work, and who's to say what high exposure is anyway? In contrast, the so-called hygiene hypothesis suggests too low an exposure to allergens is to blame. The idea is that today's clean environments leave our immune systems with too little to do, encouraging them to turn on the wrong culprits. Clearly, the field of immunology has only just scratched the surface of understanding.
Now, let us see the answer options. The answer options are, answer option A, it is only possible with particular individuals. So here, there's an absolute only and particular individuals. Next, answer option B, it can result in instances of malnourishment. So keywords are instances and malnourishment. Next, answer option C, it may be avoidable if certain precautions are taken. This may be avoidable and precautions. Next, answer option D, it is most likely to take place before the baby is born. Okay, the keywords are most likely. There is a scale expression, and before there is a time expression also. Right? So let's see. Yes, put down your answers. Can you all put down your answers in the chat box? Let's see what is the correct answer option. Okay. Yes, the correct answer is answer option C. Okay. It may be avoidable if certain precautions are taken. Okay, that is the correct answer. Now, if you could see the text, see, I explain you how I have derived the correct answer and eliminated the other answer options. But before that, let's analyze the text. Okay, interesting flakes of information are gradually being peeled off that surface. However, there's an evidence, so it is proven thing. Okay, evidence that allergens can be transferred. Again, you can find the same keyword in the question, transferred through mother's breast milk to her child, that is mother to child, and possibly also through the placenta. So it is like after the delivery of the baby as well as when the Mother is pregnant. That is the antenatal as well as the postnatal is being mentioned here. Next, since the immaturity of baby's immune system might make them more vulnerable to an inherited allergy, that is the allergy which they get from their parents, allergic families could be advised, could be advised to avoid certain foods during pregnancy and breastfeeding, It is again told that during pregnancy and breastfeeding, that is antenatal and in the postnatal period, It is possible, though, that some allergies or intolerance are purely imaginary, and this can also have consequences for children. One US study found that parents sometimes avoided foods to which they erroneously believed their children were allergic, occasionally leaving the children severely underfed. See, there's a modal verb in the answer option C. There's a modal verb may. And in the question, it is asked that the sixth paragraph suggests. Again, the confirmation of it we are getting in the paragraph by could. There's a modal verb. So could, the modal verb could indicates suggestion. So we need to know what is the suggestion given in the sixth paragraph about the transference of allergies between mother and child. That has been clearly mentioned and it is highlighted here for you. Next, the eliminated answer options are answer option A. It is only possible with particular individuals. Here only is there, so you can immediately eliminate answer option A. And it is told particular individuals. Here they have not specified whether it is the mother and child. They've told some particular individuals. Some individuals, So we are eliminating that. Next, answer option B. It can result in instances of malnourishment. So about the transference of allergies between mother and child. So will it result in instances of malnourishment? No, this is told in the US study. It is not the thing which is being told in the sixth paragraph. This is only told by the US study in the last line of the paragraph. Next, answer option D. It's mostly like it is most likely to take place before the baby is born. Here only if it is before the baby is born, the mother is in antenatal period. But here the transference of allergy is between the mother and the child. That is mainly the antenatal as well as the postnatal period is considered. I hope all of you understood the answer for question number 13. Question number 14. Dr. Soter suggests that the rise in cases of one allergy may be partly due to. The keywords in the question are Dr. Soter. There's a name. And there's a suggestion. What is the opinion of Dr. Soter? And another keyword is rise. Then one allergy and it is due to, maybe partly due to. So they are asking the reason why there is a rise in cases of one allergy. As per the strategies, we are moving on to the text.
In Australia, the number of people with genuine and severe allergies is growing. Some doctors speculate whether the increased amount of new chemicals in the environment and in food is perhaps damaging immune systems, making them more prone to react adversely. Much more research needs to be done to provide evidence for that hypothesis. Anecdotally, though, some experts say that staying off processed foods resolves the problem in a significant number of cases. Dr. Soter speculates that a rise in peanut allergy cases makes up the bulk of the increase in food allergies. Greater exposure has probably allowed more peanut allergies to flourish, she thinks. Peanut consumption per capita is rising. It's a common ingredient in Asian and vegetarian dishes, which have grown in popularity, and the diet-conscious population is increasingly turning to nuts as a source of healthy fats.
Now let us see the answer options. Yes. The answer options are answer option A, attempts to improve eating habits. The keywords in answer option A are attempts and eating habits. Next, answer option B, changes in food manufacturing methods. Here, the keyword is changes. Answer option C, the adoption of new agricultural practices. The keywords are new agricultural practices. Answer option D, increased levels of harmful substances in the atmosphere. So the keywords are increased and harmful substances. I request all of you to put down your answers in the chat box. Yes, now let's see what's the correct answer. Yes, the correct answer is answer option A. Attempts to improve eating habits is the correct answer. See, in the entire paragraph, it is told about rise in case of one allergy. Rise, you can see I've highlighted in green color, that is growing, increased, again rise, increase, greater, more, okay, increasingly. So that is a keyword here, the right keyword, the correct keyword which is present in the question. You're finding the same in the text also, okay? This, you're getting the answer there in the last line, okay? It's a common ingredient, that is peanut consumption per capita is rising, okay? It's a common ingredient in Asian and vegetarian dishes. So per person, the peanut consumption is increasing, and it's a common ingredient in Asian and vegetarian dishes, which have grown in popularity. So they have grown in popularity, and the diet conscious population is increasingly turning to nuts as a source of healthy fats. Okay, the sentence is here paraphrased. Okay, attempts is turning to, paraphrased, and synonymous language is used. Okay, eating habits. So diet conscious population, we can connect it to diet conscious population is increasingly turning to nuts as a source of healthy fats. So the question is asked that Dr. South suggests that the rise in cases of one allergy. So which is a one allergy mentioned in the text? It is the peanut allergy. Maybe partly due to why. This is the reason they've asked why. So they're telling clearly that it is the most common ingredient used in Asian and vegetarian dishes. So it is like again the telling about the eating habits itself. They have been consumed, okay, which have grown in popularity, and the diet conscious population, they are increasingly turning to nuts as a source of healthy fats. So it is the attempts to, it is telling the attempts to improve eating habits. Okay. Next, let us see the answer option B. Changes in food manufacturing methods. Have they mentioned anything regarding the food manufacturing methods? No, it is not mentioned. Next, the adoption of new agricultural practices. Is it mentioned in the text? Can you see anything regarding the adoption of new agricultural practices? No, it is not mentioned. Next, answer option D, increased levels of harmful substances in the atmosphere. So we have to concentrate mainly on what doctor says. Okay, Dr. Soter says. Whenever you find a question like this, you just have to jump into the name in the text. It is clearly mentioned in the text that Dr. Soter speculates that a rise in peanut allergy. So here it is in the question, it is asked, Dr. Soter suggests that the rise in cases of one allergy. The one allergy is the peanut allergy. It is clearly mentioned which allergy. Okay. So when you move on to the name in the text, you will save the time and it will help you to reach at the correct answer. Okay. So it is, yes, that is told by Dr. Soter. And the answer option D, increased levels of harmful substances in the atmosphere. It is not the suggestion made by the Dr. Soter. It is made by some doctors. See, some doctors speculate whether the increased amount of new chemicals in the environment and in food is perhaps damaging immune systems, making them more prone to react adversely. So we don't want the opinion of the some doctors, because here the question is clearly asked about Dr. Soter's suggestion.